सबसे फास्ट अपडेट के लिए सब्सक्राइब करें फर्स्ट इंडिया यूट्यूब और हाँ, बेल आइकन दबाना ना भूलें। आगे बढ़ते हैं। राजधानी जयपुर में JCF की 9वीं वेबिनार का आयोजन किया जा रहा है और सीधी तस्वीरें आपको वहां से दिखाते हैं।
Writer and is currently serving as Member of Parliament Lok Sabha from Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala since 2009. He was formerly Under Secretary General of the United Nations. He is an acclaimed writer, having authored 19 best-selling works of fiction and non-fiction since 1981, which are centered on India and its history, culture, film, politics, society, foreign policy, and more related themes. He is also the author of hundreds of columns and articles in publications such as the New York Times, the Washington Post, Time, Newsweek, and the Times of India. He was a contributing editor of Newsweek. In 2019, he received the Sahitya Academy Award for his book An Era of Darkness in a non-fiction category in English language. He is one of the most favorite and liked orator in the world. Also for me, he is my most favorite orator. So I, J.K. Jaju, convener programs, JCF, along with all the trustees and complete JCF family, welcome in JCF series Hum Tum 9, our most loved and liked Dr. Shashi Tharoor. Over to Rajiv ji. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jaju Saab, and welcome Dr. Shashi Tharoor and all the participants. After this COVID-19, we thought that we should start something which can be very interesting to start this series of webinar. And it has been a great success. Last 2 months, we met, we saw, and I was hearing Dr. Tharoor other day. He said this webinar, we can name it Doordarshan. So, because Dur se Darshan, so webinar is Doordarshan in Dr. Tharoor's what he has said. So it is, for me, it's a great privilege and pride to be in conversation with Dr. Tharoor, because with whom I am also working very closely in Professional Congress. Dr. Tharoor, we would like to ask you questions on different aspects because people really want to know each chapter of book Shashi Tharoor. So, so the first question is, we would like to know about your early life and memories of school and college days, and tips to our members how to improve the language, because everybody, they know that you are the best in that.
Well, that one is easy to answer. Just read indiscriminately. You asked about my early life. I actually was born in London. My parents happened to be there, but we moved back to India when I was a little over 2 years old, two and a half. And I grew up mainly in Bombay, as it was then called, Mumbai. High school in Calcutta, when my father got transferred there. College in Delhi at St. Stephen's, and then I went off with a scholarship to do graduate studies in the States. So my young years and my youth and adolescence were spent on the move, as it were. As far as the sort of defining element of my childhood is concerned, it probably was my asthma. I was a terrible sufferer from bad bronchial asthma. During which, unfortunately, I spent a lot of time confined to bed. And this is where I discovered books, because, every person of my age who wasn't able to go out and play with friends, what other options were there? There was no television in India in those days. There certainly was no Nintendo or PlayStation or handheld mobile or games or computers. So these were not even gleams in inventors' eyes. All one had was books, and books became my escape, books became my entertainment, books became my education. And so from a very young age, often sitting up in bed, unable to breathe, unable to sleep, all I had were books. My eyes grew wide with just reading. And so for whatever you want to ask about vocabulary or whatever, it only comes not from mugging up the dictionary, but from reading widely, indiscriminately, because I really had no other choice. There was no other activity possible for me. And the result in many ways is that it helped shape a lot of things. It was fairly character shaping because, when you have to go and take examinations while struggling to do something as basic as breathe, you develop a certain tough willpower, a certain habits of work and self-discipline, which were very useful. And I also, when I was not wheezing and asthmatic, and I was functioning, I instinctively made much more of it than perhaps most people, because I didn't take for granted what it meant to be alive and well and breathing and moving and functioning. And so I tried to get something worth out of every minute that I was well enough to enjoy. And the result has been a lifelong habit of hard work, of trying to squeeze more than 60 seconds worth out of every minute. And at the same time, very wide